Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet, and welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where today you get an extra healthy side helping of cheesecake. Because as I mentioned the last stream, my wife had just bought a big platter of cheesecake with several slices of all different kinds of cheesecake, and God, I've been eating tons of cheesecake last few days, and I'm happy about it. Love me some cheesecake. So yeah, here I am. It's Tuesday, a regular stream day. I'm able to stream. Hope everybody's doing well and that your week so far is doing good. Hey TOS, hey youngin. All you need. How you doing? 6 minutes. Glad to see you. Unholy Reaper. Afternoon. Clinton Whitaker. Good afternoon, old man. How you doing, man? Uh, and hopefully we'll get some more show up here as we go. I'm sitting here watching the numbers go up and down, and it goes up to 7 and drops to 5, and either people are trying to having a hard time getting in, or something. Uh, Somebody thumbs down and then thought better of it. So yeah, which doesn't bother me. Um, so yeah, hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's having a good first part of their week. Whether you've been deemed essential and you're still working, or you're self isolating at home. Um, yeah, hope it's been good for you. Um, Clinton Whitaker asks, "How is all your family holding up during this?" Good, as far as I know. Um, my One of my granddaughters' birthday was day before yesterday, was Sunday, and Sunday was a really bad day for me. And maybe I'll go into that, maybe I won't. I don't know. But anyway, I forgot to call her. I knew it was her birthday, but I forgot to call her. But so we called her yesterday, and I guess they're all up in Michigan with my other daughter, Mama Minnie. So they're up there at her home with combined 8 kids. Better than me. Love my grandkids, but good grief. 8 of them for extended period. Be a tough one. Hey, Owen Harmon. Um, if you hear my chair squeaking around, I think it's breaking. One side's not reclining like it should, and the other side is. So I'm sitting kind of lopsided, and I'm trying to get comfortable, trying to get at where it's not moving around. But unfortunately, when I move, it seems to squeak. Number one, 8 little petri dishes coughing and sputtering every day. Yeah, exactly. Kids are little petri dishes. They get everything that comes around. When my kids at different time, I have all lived with me at times with their kids, and when they were, I was sick quite often because they bring in everything imaginable, everything under the sun. But to get back to your question, Clinton, they seem to be holding up pretty good. My daughters are hanging out together. J Kid, my son, is probably sitting at my youngest daughter's house by himself, which makes him completely happy. He he's not much of a social person, not in the physical sense, anyway. Attack Alpaca High. Good afternoon, everyone, and Bloodwing. Everyone is well and safe. Yes. Uh, Good so far. Good so far. Not too bad. Hoping the dog stays calm and stays. I took her out just before the stream, so hopefully she'll be good for the entirety of the stream. But you never know with this dog. Cigar chomping penguin. It's been a while, Blood. How you holding up? Good, good, good. It has been a while. I haven't seen you out there. Hope everything's okay with you. Excuse me. But yeah, not bad. Been doing a lot of gaming, playing games of late. Oh, hey, Vanilla. Hey, just jump in the shower. He'll be about 20 minutes and he will jump on. Well, yeah, we don't want him in here all smelly, stinky. Tell him to go wash that butt. Okay. Thanks, Vanilla. Um, because the chat don't want to smell that either, do you guys? So, yeah, hope everybody's doing pretty good. And God, no, my owner says exactly. Whoosh your butt. Um, so yeah, I've been enjoying being able to play games, and been playing a lot of Borderlands 2 because I've got Borderlands 3 and have had it for a couple of weeks now, but I haven't played it yet. And the reason is that there's a DLC, a free DLC that came out just before they originally released 3 that supposedly ties Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3 together, gives you the story and ties them together. And I've been playing Borderlands 2 again. Had to play completely through the game because they recommend you do it after you do everything else. Which means I had to play through the complete game, and then there were 3 other DLCs that I had to complete before that. Now there's some other side stuff that they call Headhunter downloads. I'm not going to worry about doing those before, but anyway, I'm now on that free DLC that ties it up, and I'm almost to the end of it, so I should be able to play 3 here pretty soon, which I'm excited about. I have watched videos on people showing the different characters, playable characters, and their skills and so forth, but I've not watched any actual gameplay, and that's on purpose because didn't want to ruin it for myself. Um, Attack Alpaca Borderlands 3 was great. Took me a lot of time because I had to build my character up before some of the harder bosses, but it was fun. Yeah. And I love the Borderlands series. From the first one to the second one. My actual personal favorite is the first one. Uh and it gets a bad rap from some people because there's no story, but there is a story. You just got to pay attention. It's told through those little recorders that you pick up, the echo recorders. Anyway, I won't bore you all with all that, but that's what I've been doing. And of course, some of you are aware that I've been playing Bioshock now and again because I've been streaming it. And there are some people watching it that have never played the game, so they're not familiar with the story. So they seem to be enjoying that. And hopefully, we'll do another. Might do one tonight. It will have to be after Lords of the Night or right before. Don't know. We'll see what happens. The dog is going crazy because she can't figure out who in the world I'm talking to. Yeah. In her mind, I'm talking to thin air. Papa's done lost it. He's talking to himself. You should see her. Oh, I got so tickled at her last night. And went to go to bed, and she was already in laying on the bed on the end, and she had all my covers all piled up underneath her. And so when I turned out the light, crawled into bed, I said, "Now let me get the covers." And just like she understood every word, she jumped up, got off the covers, and as soon as I pulled them up over me, she went right back to where she was laying and laid back down. And then scooted over to where she was touching my leg because she's got to be touching me in some way. Get out of there. You got no business. I don't trust her in the kitchen because she does have a habit of getting in the trash if she's not watched. And I know for a fact there's some chicken bones in that trash. I don't want her to get them. So, yeah, just been doing normal everyday stuff, playing some games, trying not to live on Twitter, and I don't. I check it about the same as usual, 2 or 3 times a day, just to see what's going on with everybody and going on with the world. And other than that, just been doing what I can to enjoy myself. Sorry, I had to get a drink of coffee, and I'm drinking out of my red, white, and blue American flag cup that says Marine Dad and proud of it, because you all know that, or I assume you all know that Mama Minnie is a U.S. Marine. And I say is because they say once a Marine, always Marine. You're never an ex Marine. She's just not in active service at the moment. So, yeah, bought that when she was in boot camp. I've got three new, well, actually there's six, but three of them are mine. Three new coffee cups coming that Mama Minnie's three youngest kids all made and are selling off of Facebook, which I thought was really cool. And they all have different designs and reflect the characters of them. And old Bulldozer, who you've heard me talk about before, um, of course, has a big dinosaur on his because he wants to be a paleontologist. That's just what he wants to be, and he's all his life he's been nuts about the dinos, and he still is. Oh, that's good coffee. I do make good coffee, and it's fresh. It just got done. Yeah, Michael, I know Twitter is toxic. Yeah, I don't. I really don't get on there much anymore than I have to, because it doesn't take long before I'm like, okay, I'm done, because I see people saying stupid stuff, throwing hand grenades, trying to get people to argue with them, and then shutting down the conversation when they do argue with them. And you know the drill. You've all seen it. It just drives me nuts. But I keep it around so that I can keep up with people like Alex and Monkey and other friends that I have uh, on YouTube and whatnot. I keep flipping back and forth to see, because I did send an invite out to Monkey as well. He probably won't make it because he's got his grandchildren, his daughter and grandchildren right now. And they're sequestered at his house. So, yeah, he probably won't make it because he'll be with the grandkids, which is exactly what I would do in his shoes. If my grandkids were here, I'd want to spend it with them too. So, yeah, for those of you that aren't grandparents, you just don't know. It's it's something special. Um, but yeah, hope I'm glad everybody seems to be doing good. All 19 of you out there. Somehow I thought the numbers might be a little higher because I know a lot of people are self isolating, or because they don't have any choice, one or the other. However, I'm happy with whatever the numbers are. Shoot, if just 2 or 3 of you come out to listen to me. And I've been in live streams back in the early days, especially I used to stream a lot with a fellow called Danny the Dingo. He doesn't do content anymore, but he used to. Some of you may know the name, but at any rate, we hit it off pretty well. And I used to stream with him all the time. And shoot, we'd have live streams that might have just a couple of people out in the chat, and it didn't matter. We'd still hang out and talk. Next 6 minutes is I invited us home because I was deemed non-essential. Yeah. Well, I was kind of hoping to wait until Alex was here so I didn't have to tell it twice. But some of you know that I was pondering what to do, whether to stay home or not, because my business, Smoke Shop, was deemed essential because they're using a loophole to do so and claiming that they're a convenience store, which they're not. They're not even licensed as a convenience store. They're licensed as a tobacco store. I know that for a fact because the license has to be displayed on the wall. Hey, Theater Winch Ginger, how you doing? You don't have to call me Mister. The gayest person on YouTube. Hola, how you doing? Streams aren't showing up on subfeed, so that may be why so few people. That's true. It is. It's absolutely true, and that's why I went on Twitter and tried to get it. So you can help me out, guys, by sharing it out on Twitter. And so forth, because it is true. YouTube isn't doing right by live streams lately, and I'm not so sure that isn't by design. But at any rate, uh, I was pondering staying home. I did work Sunday, just because Sundays are very hard to cover. It's hard to get in, and I had pondered and I couldn't make up my mind anyway Saturday night, so I just well go tomorrow. Anyway, I did make the decision to stay home. So I'm self isolating as well, even though I was deemed essential. And according to my company, it's all good. I still got a job when I get back. Hopefully, it'll only be like a week, because the last I heard, our governor said we were on lockdown until April 6th. And so, uh, I can afford to take a week off because I'm not getting paid for it, and since our business went shut down, I can't get uh, 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 unemployment. So, we're going to be living on just my wife's pay for a week. But we did it for 5 years while I was disabled, so we can do it for a week now. And man, Sunday was a bad day for me. That was the day I made the decision, but there were some other things going on that had to do with work, and because of it, I was on the phone with my manager, my fellow assistant manager, my assistant district manager, and my district manager. The only person I wasn't on the phone with that I know personally was the regional manager. I didn't call her, but I was on the phone with them on Sunday, and thankfully, both the assistant manager and or assistant district manager and the district manager said, "Hey, whatever you decide, we respect it. You still got a job when you come back, and we're not going to hold it against you if you decide to stay home." And so, yeah, yeah. Theater Wins Ginger. I'll tell you what the turning point for me was, that helped me decide to stay home. Even though I didn't actually make the decision till several hours later, but this was the turning point that got the ball rolling in my head. I was working Sunday, and it was a slow day, so I was fine with it. It was okay. Had a few of the regulars. It was mostly just old men defying the stay at home thing to go out and buy their smokes and lottery tickets because they're too stubborn to stay home. And some fella come in, and he had a mask on and stuff, but he's just talking and coughing and choking, and he says, "Oh, I'm not sick. I have emphysema," which I'm like, "Why are you here buying smoke? You shouldn't be buying smokes." I said, "Can I help you with something?" He says, "No, I'm just looking." He had to walk around, touch everything. I mean, he looked at everything in the store. I think he walked out finally with a lighter, a disposable lighter. That's all he bought. Pretty sure, if I remember right. But he touched everything. I went around trying after he left, and disinfected as best I could. I tried to remember what he touched, and he was all up on my counter and stuff. And see, that kind of stuff happens. And in my position, I have no control over that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm no, not doing this anymore. I don't think I will. And that kept rolling through my head until finally, and then some other things happened, um, which I might get into later. I don't know if I'll discuss it, but it was, Sunday was bad. Sunday was real bad, and uh, things going on other than me deciding to stay home. And that's actually the reason I was on the phone with so many people at my job, was that not because of me staying home. Um, but it, yeah, it was just you can't control that, and plus, my wife's job is essential. She works for FedEx. You got to keep those. Um, got to keep those supply lines open. Thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. I'm coughing on this super chat. Well, I hope you're covering your mouth on that super chat, yeah, dingleberry. Anyway, um, yeah, no, Cryptic. uh, don't worry, I'm not sick. That's smoker's cough. I'd let you know if I was sick. I wouldn't be streaming if I was sick, because when I get sick, I get real sick. But anyway, she has to work, and if I ended up getting the virus, then she would have to be quarantined along with me, and then she couldn't work, and she makes the majority of the money by far. I'm not afraid to admit it. She's worked at FedEx for 30 years, so she makes pretty good money, or decent money, and so that was also factored in. And anyway, long story short, I decided to stay home for at least this week, and I told them that I would stay in touch with them week to week. Uh, if you stream while sick, you might give the computer virus through the mic. might just do it. Some of you may remember last year, about this time. Seems like it was about this time. Maybe it was a little later in the year. I had pneumonia, and oh my gosh, I got really sick with it. And I sounded real bad. And even after I got over it, I coughed and hacked and choked for the longest time. For the longest time. Get another drink of that coffee. As soon as Alex get here, I'm gonna go refill my cup, because that's a good pot of coffee right there. Really tastes good. And I take my coffee black, in case you don't know. No cream, no sugar. My thought is, why ruin a perfectly good cup of coffee by putting crap in it? No, thank you. I'm a real coffee drinker. I'm a man. But yeah, W.R. Croston, how you doing? Greetings, wonderful people, and/or cryptic. But yeah, that's my decision. That's what I've decided to do, and they seem to be okay with it, and they didn't try to push me one way or the other. The decision was mine to make, and whatever I decided, they said that they would respect it and would understand it. And so, yeah, yes, Theodore Winchester, coffee is life, absolutely. No, baby, go on. I just took you out. I know you don't need out, so go on. Go lay down, baby. Go lay down. Go on. Thank you. All right. Anti-stabby magic bean juice. You got that right. I've often said, I have two big vices. It's my coffee and my cigarettes, and I could probably easier give up the cigarettes for a while than the coffee, because the coffee makes it where I don't kill somebody. That is a fact. Yeah. Get out of the kitchen now. Come on now. Get out of the kitchen. Don't do this, okay? I told you to behave yourself while I was live streaming. Give Pep a break, okay? 6 minutes says I only put cream in my coffee if I have to drink it fast. Cryptic, thank you for the donation. You need to stop calling us baby. It wasn't you. I was talking to the dog, you slant-eyed freak. Anyway, Precious, lay down somewhere. You're about to get yourself in trouble. Now, come on, lay down. I would let her go in the bedroom where my wife is sleeping, which is where she was when I went to take her out. But I would have to shut the door on her and she'd be locked in there with her and couldn't get out if she wanted to. So I wouldn't wake my wife up because she is sleeping because she's got to work tonight. Theater Wins Ginger says anti-criminal behavior elixir, and Alex is in the green room. Been trying to watch it. Been trying to keep an eye out for you, but didn't see you.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I
feel naked, Bloodwing, because I've removed the scissor arm that housed my microphone, and I've now mounted it onto this, and now I can swing around with my microphone like that. And now people can't fucking moan at me anymore about audio levels. Shut up.
Tell us how you really feel.
Some of us are old subscribers. You think you fixed your audio for us? How about you shut the fuck up? You can't hear it. Open your ears.
Well, if they seen my setup, you know, of course I could show them. I do have my camera. If the camera's still pointing at me, I accidentally almost knocked over my TV that I'm using for a monitor. It's a 50-something inch TV. I backed into it trying to get the dog. Let's see.
This chosen setup that you've
you can't see it from here. It's all
he's so handsome.
Yeah. Haven't even touched my hair for days. Are you kidding me?
That's all right. It just looks like you've been wearing a hat, mate.
Yeah. Well, it's bedhead.
Yes,
it's bedhead.
I can't, StreamYard would be better if it didn't take my Brio camera and just shit all over the intended quality.
Yeah.
Because I have it set in OBS, but you come in here and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, the other day I come in and we couldn't figure out why the sound quality was awful. Sounded like I was in a tin can. And it just came out of nowhere. And come to find out, I guess there's a mic, and they don't tell you there's a mic in this cheap little camera that I have.
The webcam,
yeah, and it was taking the sound through the camera instead of my mic. It was awful, terrible.
This setup, dude. The layout that you've got is triggering me.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. There we go.
There we are. That's
I forgot to click the button.
Now my camera quality doesn't look as bad as it does in StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you, darling?
I'm doing fine. Like I was just informing chat, I did decide to stay home for the rest of this week at least, and self-isolate.
You just wanted to get a week of Ark in, didn't you?
No, I haven't played a bit of Ark, actually.
Well, BioShock then.
Well, I've only played that one. I'm streaming.
Oh.
And I've only streamed it twice, so played about, under 4 hours of it.
He's been playing The Sims and just creating characters over and over again.
No, been playing Borderlands series. 1 and 2, trying to get ready to play 3, which I have not played or seen played, and I'm excited about. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. Okay. And, my company seems to be okay with it, and...
So what, have they told all of y'all to go home now, have they?
Nope. No, they're using, I guess you didn't know, you weren't here. No. All right. Settle in. And in case you guys have heard this story, I'm sorry, but I'm going to retell it. Last week, they made a rule that we couldn't have more than one employee in the store at a time.
Okay.
Supposedly because of the virus. Well, if you're in training, and I have been training a new girl,
you're training a new girl, guys.
Yeah. So she's exempted. So I was supposed to be training her. On Fridays are truck days. Now, it usually takes 5 of us to put away the truck. And that's just a normal truck. We had a double order this week, and I had to check it in and put it away all by my lonesome.
That must have taken quite some time.
I was not a happy camper.
No, I can't imagine that you were.
And there was no way I could have done it if the new girl wasn't there to cover the register. There was just absolutely no way it could have been done.
Mm.
And because Friday's our busiest day, and anyway, on that shipment, while I was just getting it, my assistant district manager, because my manager has been quarantined. So I've been staying in constant contact with the assistant district manager. And she called me on my cell phone and said, I want you to put the foodstuffs away first. I said, foodstuffs? What are you talking about? Foodstuffs. Well, there's foodstuffs and other supplies in there. I crack it open. Now, mind you, this stuff is just a ploy so they can claim, look, we're a convenience store.
Yeah, you mentioned this and you had somewhat of a moral quandary.
Yeah. 4 rolls of toilet paper we got and put out. 5 cans of Pringles, 2 cans of ravioli, 2 packages of ramen noodles, some pork rinds, donuts, and a couple of other assorted snacks that we put on one single small shelf. So that
the redneck diet, ladies and gentlemen.
So they can point to that and say, look, we're a convenience store.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that's just your dinner, isn't it?
I haven't touched a bit of it. Now, we have sold some of the pork rinds, but I'll bet you those 2 cans of ravioli will still be there a year from now.
Because ravioli sucks ass. That's why.
Well, nobody goes to a smoke shop to buy ravioli and toilet paper.
To be fair, like, if I seen it, I'd be like, oh, wow, they do ravioli and toilet paper here.
But yeah, and I was laughing at it, but I was laughing not to cry because they should have shut down, but they're using a loophole. They're claiming that they're a convenience store, which they're not, but they're claiming they are.
That's some shady shit.
It is.
Capitalism, baby.
But they did come out and say, if you decide to stay home, they sent out a company-wide email. If you decide to stay home, you'll still have a job when you get back. We won't hold it against you.
Oh, that's good. Sorry. Just showing some skin.
Then they ended that email with, but some people need the money. Got to throw that little dig in.
Oh, the shady bastards.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, so it's like, if you feel the need to go home, then you absolutely could. We won't hold it against you, but you want to get paid, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and the only reason I was even going in was because my fellow assistant manager, who's playing manager now that ours is, off.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to put her in the trick bag. It was only going to leave her, a trainee, and one other person to cover all the shifts for the next week. But I finally got to the point, look, I can't let that be the reason I risk my health. So yeah.
Naturally, yeah.
I'm finally, Sunday afternoon, I made the decision, and it was on all kinds of phone calls.
All kinds of phone calls.
Oh my gosh, yes. I talked to everybody in the corporation except our regional manager on Sunday. I'm not joking.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. But there were other things that was going on besides me deciding to call off. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right, though. You're right yourself.
Yeah, I'm fine. Physically, good. I'm fine.
You're not dying, are you?
No, heck no. No, I've been eating cheesecake like it's going out of style. My wife come home with this big platter that had like 20 different slices of cheesecake, and all the slices were different types. Oh.
So Bloodwing's been satisfying that his sweet tooth then?
It's 3/4 gone, and this is a huge platter. Like, this platter is like at least 12 inches across, probably close
Yeah.
to 18 inches across. And I've ate 3/4 of it now myself. So love me some cheesecake.
I'm sorry, I was just texting Vanilla Bear because I've left my lighter and my Lucasade upstairs like a plonker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, though, having a cane is really useful for?
What's that?
Just reaching things.
Yep.
Move. It's the grey curtain that goes over. It just doesn't go. Oh, fuck it. I'll sort it afterwards.
Oh, I used to use my cane all the time. I used to use it to poke my grandkids when they were misbehaving. Thought they were out of my reach, and I'd give them a poke on the shoulder.
Yeah, I when I'm mad and like I'm having to be the bad guy with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And if I happen to be on my feet, I usually have this bad boy in my right hand. And suddenly I turn into fucking General Bloody Douche Canoe, I'm like, right, you and you.
You're right.
Yeah, what's going on, Luna? I shared the stream out, and so some of the old Subaroonies have come along.
Good.
Yeah, the degenerate there, Fran in the chat, gobbing off.
Hi, Jen.
And
Hi,
Jen
Luna.
in the chat as well. She's bring me some maple syrup and my battle moose. I've got to get around. But yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm just existing, as it were. Trying not to get too wound up because fuck a coronavirus, right? It wouldn't make a difference to me because I is an essential worker, motherfucker. I would have been perfectly fine in this situation. I would have still had to go to work, and I still would have been doing my thing. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, me out of commission makes it a pain in the ass. Yeah, I do need a grabber, actually. I could use a grabber on the end of this.
Yeah, my dad has one of those. Luna K, I'm doing good. And Alex is alive.
I'm alive, darling. Yeah, I'm all right, Luna. Thank you for asking. I hope you're good.
Yeah, those little grabber thingies. I don't know the official name for it, but you know what you're talking about. They're handy.
The Uns Grabberhausen.
Yeah.
The Uns Grabber bitch. I like to call it. So I could grab Vanilla Bear's ass with it then and just pull her towards me.
What I really wished I had is my dad had this like shoehorn that was at the end of a long pole where he could stand up, not bend over, and put his shoes on and stuff.
Yeah, a Swiss Army cane. You can shoehorn your feet into difficult shoes.
Yeah.
You can scratch it back. It's got a cup holder, obviously. And it's also got the grabber as well.
Of course, it's been warm enough here the last few days that I just throw on a pair of flip-flops when I take the dog out. So.
I know how we can finally go into business. But before I tell you, Cryptic is being racist in the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. Psst, you have a 1/4 on. Psst. Yeah, I know. I invited him.
Got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what?
What? Do you remember you had this cunning plan, this innovative idea for headphones, didn't you, a while back? And it was going to make you $1 gazillion. But
Yeah.
I have a better plan.
Mm-hmm.
Although I fear that you may ruin it because you may just take it and just do it for yourself. And that is the walking cane that makes you a cup of coffee.
Oh, I would so buy that.
See?
Yes, I would absolutely buy that. No matter the cost, it would be worth it.
No matter the cost. No matter the mountain I'd have to climb.
Yeah. I would, if it keeps me in coffee, I'm down.
Yeah, you just have to the Keurig is in and the hot water is in the cane, and it's constantly reheating the water and constantly filtering the coffee, and it feeds upwards. You press a button, it fills the cup up, and then boom, cup. Oh, nice polystyrene cup that you could just have a drink and then yeet the cup.
Well, I've thought about moving my coffee maker in here on the desk next to me because I'm, but that would just make me lazier.
I don't think the chat has froze Luna. Although I dare I say that if that's the case for anybody else, that they refresh the stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, refresh it. YouTube's they're claiming it's because of all the extra traffic because everybody's at home and all that, and I can get that.
There's been a lot of problems with
Yeah.
live streams and premieres. I've noticed. Not only a notification. I mean, I've been receiving notifications from other content creators when they go live and stuff.
Yeah.
Usually for the people I have it turned on for,
Mm-hmm.
but it's usually too late, and it doesn't arrive properly through Chrome. I mean, it'll come through my phone fine, usually.
Don't you go up my floor, dog.
But
I've already
yeah,
cleaned up one of those messes.
No, Twitch notifications work.
Yeah.
Although I will say that the chat over there does have well, it's not the chat. I don't think it's the chat. I think it's the live stream feed has some issues over there. But you know
what I get, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens often. I will get the notification for the stream, but then after it goes live and is done, like if I wasn't able to watch it and maybe wanted to watch it later, it doesn't show up in my feed then. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, but it does sometimes. Hey, Pat.
A lot of live streams, like I won't receive notifications for 4 out of 5 streams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I'll be looking at my sub feed and I'll see 5 people are live streaming, but only one of them is in my sub feed.
Yeah.
And I can only tell that the other 4 are streaming because of the left-hand bar on browser.
Yeah.
But again, this is why it's so important to follow your favorite creators on social media and join their discords if they have them.
Yeah, if you have Twitter and you're not following me, why not? I don't post a lot. I don't get off and go on Twitter, but I do sometimes, and that's where you can get your notifications.
As I probably post too much, although I've been tweeting less recently. I've been trying to find a good balance with my broke-did brain.
Yeah.
In between working on content, live streaming, and just having me time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a somewhat of a crash yesterday, so I ended up spending almost the entire day and all night playing Stardew Valley and just listening. Well, I had anime on one screen and Stardew on the other. So
yeah, I've been meaning to play some RimWorld because I know that it's been updated a lot lately, and I haven't played it since. But I keep seeing it and meaning to, but then I don't. But I'll get to it. I've got the whole week off and got to find something to do with my time.
Well, that's the thing about RimWorld is once it sucks you in,
yeah,
you're there.
Yeah,
and then you spend a week trying to hold on to the same colonist. But then you realize that's not going to happen. So you try to hold on to the colony itself, and it's like I had one that lasted me a week, man, and I started off with 3, and I ended the save with 3, but it weren't the 3 I started with.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Shio, not that kind of rim. Shio, go stand in the corner.
Yeah.
Go stand in the corner, Shio.
Yeah, he does. He does want to rim too. I'm sure he.
But yeah. YouTube's been having some problems. So apologies if you're not getting notifications. Trust me, I'm trying to do what I can to make sure you do by setting up the stream early. And
but even then, it doesn't play the game.
Yeah, it doesn't. I actually set the stream up. The stream was set up actually an hour beforehand. Usually I do 2 hours, but I was involved playing games and lost track of time. So
I'll give you a clue of, I mean, I suppose it might not be the best comparison because my subscribers subscribe to me for a particular type of content. So when I released the Chester video, I thought, okay, this isn't going to do as well as my other content. That said, YouTube is so broken right now that received less views at the end of the premiere and after the first day than what my bog standard live stream does. Now, I know it's not my usual content, but there are videos where I just sit there and there's not even a thumbnail. It's just, I'm just talking to the camera. You can see it's just me in the camera, and they're shit views. But that doesn't even have 1,000 yet, and it's been out there for 2 days, and it's monetized. Yeah. So it's, I mean, YouTube is fucked. Apparently, I'm being told to look at Discord.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, I'm not even going to mute myself. I need another cup of coffee, so I'm gonna get up and go walk myself across the kitchen and go get it. I'll be right back.
Roger that. I don't even know who live streams anymore besides Alex. Oh well, to be fair, that's because you're a mod in my Discord, so naturally you know when I'm doing it, and you're a mod in my chat, so you know when I'm doing it as well. Coffee, get a cup of coffee. That's right. But yeah, I mean, Twitch is fairly decent when it comes to notifications and stuff. They actually send them out. I actually get them through through Chrome, even if the Chrome is closed itself. So that alerts me whenever somebody's streaming over there. Anyway, the people that I follow. Although strangely enough, oh no, he hasn't gone live yet. So okay, I can't whinge about it yet. But we'll see because Megon's going live soon. But I thought he may have already done so. But yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's a fairly decent platform in terms of the streaming capabilities, integrations, and it actually fucking works. Would you believe? So, oh yeah, I don't know. YouTube's just fucking broken at the moment.
Oh, this dog! I swear, she thinks every time I get out of my chair, I have to go take her out. And I took her out just before the stream started. She just wants to go out and tease the pit bulls next door.
Of course.
Because she does. She goes over by the fence just to get them growling and barking at her. And, yeah. No, ain't happening, kiddo.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Get out of the kitchen. Precious.
I like that the dog's name is Precious.
Yeah. Go lay down. Lay down, baby.
It's going moist.
Yeah. If I wished I had a fenced-in backyard, Luna K, because then I could just let her out and go run and stay out until she decided to come in. But I don't. So when I take her out, I have to take her out on a leash because I'm not chasing her.
You have to get in your car, man.
Yeah, because she's fast. And she's already broke one leash while she's been here.
Good grief.
Yep. She just doesn't know how strong she is. She's nothing but muscle.
She's pit bull.
Yeah, well, mix pit bull and African Ridgeback. But she looks the pit part. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's amazing. But my dog won't poop on a leash for some reason, so it's a good thing we have a fence. There is that. That.
Well, I feel sorry for her because when she goes, she has no privacy when she poops, and every time she does, as soon as she starts pooping, she'll look over and look at me like, "Are you watching me?" But I just tell her that good dog, good girl, to reinforce to her that that's what I want her to do.
I swear to God, my dog tries to make eye contact when he's having a poo.
Yeah.
He's like he needs it. He's like staring at you. He's like, I shall return in just a moment because it would appear that the missus hasn't received my text message. So, uno momento.
Alrighty. So I haven't checked in with Pichette for a minute. How you all doing out there? You guys still doing good? I hope. You called out Precious, and some areas you end up with a stripper or streetwalker for chasing you down, Sarah Jane. Yeah, probably. It's not my dog. It's my youngest daughter's dog. We're just watching her while she's out of town. He almost said good bit. No, good girl. Good girl is what I said. Red Feather One, how you doing? Still well, yeah. And Franny's, yeah, it's normal for dogs to look at you when crap. It's to make sure you're watching your back because it's a vulnerable position for them. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not so good trying to distract myself. Yeah. Are you easily bored or just got bad things happening? Because I'm not easily bored. I'm not one of those people, so I don't have to worry about that.
Left leg went at the last minute.
Oh.
Yeah, it likes to do this. It likes to do this wibble wobble thing. I put the slightest bit of weight on it, mate, and it just goes.
Well, even though I would say 80% better than I was before my surgery a year ago, at least good enough to go to work part time. Mine still does that on occasion.
Yeah,
get all wobbly and like, no, I don't want to hold your weight, you fat cow.
Standing there going, "You fucking arm." He was doing that shit before I got in the shower, before I come on the stream.
Yeah.
I was like, here we go.
So, yeah. Found out yesterday, I was talking about it just before you came on the stream, that my youngest daughter is in Michigan with Mama Minnie. So hanging out there during the virus thing. But that makes a combined total of 8 kids in that house.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And I love each and every one of them dearly, but I don't know that I could put up with that for more than a day or two.
What are you talking about? You know, you'd sit in your armchair, you'd have your cane, and then you just trip them over as they run past you periodically.
Mm-hmm. Or make them. My thing was always, hey, you come here, let me punch you in the face.
Exactly, yeah.
And they would. They'd come over because they know I'm just going to tap them on the nose. But
yeah, but they'd BA for Papa.
Yeah.
J Kid. Yeah, how was J Kid?
He's last I heard from him, he's doing fine. I haven't heard from him since. Did he?
Yeah. I think it was maybe a week ago.
Yeah, he DM'd me on my birthday. So.
Yeah, I think it was on our birthday.
Yeah. And talked to him then, and I got his new phone number. I guess he's got a new phone. But last I heard a week ago, he's doing all right. He's not real good about communicating. So, yeah. You know, he's almost 40 years old. He has his own life. I get it.
That's true.
Kyler says, I have 7 siblings. I don't know how my parents managed. Oh, I know. I only raised 3 kids, and that was more than enough for me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 and a wife. And that's enough. Even though I would like a 3rd. I would
have fun, Luna. Says she's going to go out and chill out with her dog and have a couple cigarettes. Have fun.
All right, Luna. I'll see you shortly, darling.
Speaking of cigarettes.
Light on up.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So what's been going on, man? Like what's the tea, as they say in the haters, I suppose.
Yeah.
What's the tea, bitch?
Really ain't. I haven't seen much of anything except stuff related to the virus, because that's all anybody's got on their mind lately.
Yeah, I saw the death toll for Spain yesterday. Oh boy. Yeah, that is not good over there. I think it's like 80,000 plus infected, and I think they had the highest death toll.
Well, they were saying the U.S. has the highest, which cracks me up, because I'm like, of course we do. Look at how many people we have. You know,
is it America who has the highest?
Yeah, last I heard, it was America had the highest. Not death toll, but the highest number of cases. That's, I think, is what it was.
Maybe highest number of cases would probably make more sense, but
Yeah, and it
I'm
only
surprised
just
it ain't
makes
us because British people ain't listening to the government about social distancing.
yeah. I'm surprised they are around here because they're a bunch of stubborn rednecks. But man, it's like a ghost town. I'm
Mm.
telling you what. Yeah, Jen says America has a population of about 5 to 6 countries. Of course. So, of course, we're going to have more cases than other countries. You can't
The
look at
size
it
of
like,
several countries.
yeah.
I mean, Texas alone, you can fit the UK in there about 50 times.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could fit my state in Texas several
Yeah.
times.
Well, we're not at 1 million worldwide yet in terms of confirmed cases. The total number of deaths worldwide stands at 40,636.
Kyler says some dumb SOB just had to go visiting in the big city, so now the virus is in my little town. Sorry to hear that, Kyler.
Well, yeah, of course, the United States would have the highest amount of confirmed cases, 180,000.
I'm surprised at my state because it's a medium-sized state comparatively. It's not one of the really big ones, but it's not one of the really little ones either. But we're like 6th or 7th in the number of deaths from the virus.
Oh, yeah. You're not at the top in terms of deaths. Not at all.
No, but I'm surprised we're that high. Like 6th or 7th out of all 50.
Italy's the highest with 12,428, and then I think it's Spain. Spain's at 8. They surpassed 8,000.
But yeah,
I'm just scrolling through here because the list is quite extensive. You think somewhere like India would be at the top of the fucking list with this shit?
Oh, they're shoulder to shoulder people.
Yeah. Like with America, there's lots of rural land, tons of it, in fact.
Yeah, and of course we have big, cities and so forth that it just seems like it's wall to wall people. But yeah, the further west you get, the more open area you got. If you want space, you can find it.
I will chug this goddamn Lucasade, Fran. It's a shame it's not the Apple Blast. Oh, it's delicious. But yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. People in the UK aren't listening, though. They're still getting onto packed, like, London Underground trains.
And that is true, Kyler. He makes a point. Well, it makes sense, Blowing, because you get a lot of traffic through Indy. One of our nicknames is the Crossroads of America, and I've mentioned before to you that we have several interstates that all intersect through Indianapolis. That's why a lot of national trucking companies have their headquarters here, because wherever you want to go, you can get there from here pretty easily. So, yeah. And we are an international port of call, believe it or not, being in the middle of the country.
Owen does bring up a great point. The crappy countries aren't testing and reporting. Although, India has been on the up and up in recent years. It has advanced a great deal. Of course, it doesn't mean it still doesn't have rampant poverty.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hopefully this whole thing only lasts another week. Since I've got a taste of being back at work, I'll go crazy if I don't get out of the house. So
how do you think I feel, mate? Like I was back in work for 5 months before this fucking thing in my head started. Like fuck a coronavirus. This was already affected me 9 weeks ago.
Because when I was
here ever since.
Yeah, when I was first out of work, it took me probably at least a year to get used to the fact that I wasn't getting up and going to work every day.
Yeah, this is pissing me off, mate. I'll be honest. I just want to go back. The idea of YouTube and Twitch as a job again is, and I hate to use the phrase, but triggering. I don't want to do that again.
Well, and it would be tough. I mean, I know in my case, of course, your channel's a lot bigger than mine, but in my case, and as much as I appreciate everybody's generosity, because I love you guys, and I really appreciate when you donate. There's no way I could live off of what I make off this channel. There's just zero chance.
My subscribers, they're very generous. One in particular is extremely bloody generous, but I can't rely on that one person, or I can't rely on people being generous forever.
Yeah.
Because everyone's channel dies eventually. And I'm not going back to being a fucking e-beggar. I swear to God, I'm not doing that.
I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that wasn't someone knocking at my door. That's my alert on my new phone for when I get an alert, like a text or a YouTube alert. It sounds like somebody knocking on the door, which drives this dog absolutely crazy. But yeah, somebody posted a video that I'm sub to, and it knocked.
Yeah. Yeah, Fran, yeah, you can only shit post through super chats for so long. Yeah, I mean, not everybody shit posts through super chats like you do, Fran. But people will only stick around for so long before they get bored and move on to someone else.
Yeah.
And I completely get that.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's YouTube channel has a shelf life.
And I'm not a creator that I don't require that you give to me. If you do, great. If you don't, great. We're still buddies. It's not a requirement for me. I appreciate it when you do. It keeps me in cigarettes.
Yeah. No, it's nobody here shit post.
Yeah. Thank you, Cryptic. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for reading that for me, Alec.
Not a problem. I don't mind reading your super chats for you. You are getting it, mate. So
he keeps trying to get me to read something he knows I won't say. But and in case you're new to the channel, it's just a personal thing, and I don't curse, and I just don't. It's a personal thing.
He's a big girly man.
Big girl.
What he's saying.
Oh, I used to have a foul mouth. I could have made a sailor blush, but yeah. About the time I got married, I quit cursing and quit doing drugs and all that stuff, and tried to grow up and be responsible. Hey, Nexol, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Necro? Hey, old man and Bloodwing, charming. Aren't you the same age as Bloodwing? Or older, even?
Well, I think TOS that's out in the chatter is a little bit older than me, and of course, what's her name? That shows up in the chat quite a bit, and her name's eludes me, but it's quite a bit older than me. But yeah, there's some of them out there. There's old people hanging out there. I'm only 60.
Only.
That sounds bad even when I said it.
He's got 40 years until he's a century.
Yeah.
A century.
Yeah. Well, I'll never be fully grown up, Kyler. I've always said I'm a Toys R Us kid. I refuse to grow up. Yeah.
Well, men don't grow up anyway. We don't.
Well, no.
They're still finding farts funny.
Well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and I still take dumps that I just have to fight with myself not to come out here and tell my wife, "Hey, you got to see this. Come here."
I do that as well. There's always somebody that has to be told.
Yeah, you should see this dump I just took.
Mm-hmm.
I'll only be 40 in 30 days. My blood still looks 20 years younger than me. Thank you, Functional. I get told that a lot. I think people are blind. But yeah, I get told a lot, especially in my job, when they find out how old I am. Is you're 60? Because, you've probably heard this before because I've said it before, but I have to ask everybody, regardless how old they are, for their birthday. My cash register requires it. When I scan a tobacco product, it pops up for the birthday. And if I don't put a birth date in, I can't get past that. Can't finish the deal. And so I asked them their birth date, and they'll make comments like, "Oh, well, I was born in 68. I'm old." And I'm like, "I got 8 years on you, dude." And they're like, "Oh, you don't look it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Well, I smoke too much and don't exercise. So
yeah, I think that's the thing that makes us both look young, to be honest.
Yeah.
I smoke far too much. I need to really quit, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I should. I should. And maybe one of these days I will, but I should.
One day.
I have a doctor's appointment coming up one day next week, and I'll guarantee the first thing he'll say to me as he comes in, if he doesn't cancel it because of the virus thing, the first thing he'll say when he comes in is the same thing he says first off when he comes in and sits down. Have you quit smoking yet? And I'll be like, no, but I'm going to one day.
One day.
That and fuss at me because I didn't go take the tests that he wanted me to take.
What? Why did you not take
Just blood tests and stuff, and I just never got around to it because I got to drive across town to go take them, and I just couldn't get motivated.
Yeah. That's fair.
You look like a 23-year-old bear. When I was his age, I'd walk in to buy cigarettes, and I got carded constantly.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, or buy alcohol. They'd card me all the time because I looked so young.
In the UK, you can get carded, ID'd for energy drinks.
That's crazy.
When that lady at the supermarket carded me because I was buying Vanilla Bear Monsters and I was buying myself Lucasades and that, and she was going, "Are you old enough?" And I was like, "Madam, you're going to look at my date of birth in a second, and your mind would be totally blown." I is 32.
Yeah, I knew I made it, and I've told this before too, but I knew I made it when I was at the local Kroger grocery store, and they have self-checkout counters there where you can go and scan your stuff yourself and stuff. But if you scan alcohol, it sets off an alarm, locks the machine up.
It's like it does over here, man.
Yeah, and the girl at the desk has to come over and unlock it. So I bought a box of wine. I scanned it, set off the alarm. The girl grabs her whatever she's got to do to unlock it, starts to walk over, and then looks up to look at me. Immediately stopped in her tracks and just waved at me with the "go on, go ahead."
Our self-checkouts are usually manned by a checkout person.
Yeah.
Because they're that shit. They just go off all the time. And I mean, this may surprise people in the chat there who haven't heard me talk about it before, but when you've all of us, we've all been propositioned by underage teenagers outside the local store, saying,
yeah.
"Oh, can you buy me alcohol? Can you buy me cigarettes?" Like, my mind was absolutely blown when a young lady walked up to me and said, "Could you go in there and get me an energy drink?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that is.
I was like, "Why?"
Yeah, that's pretty strange. Yeah.
I didn't know that they brought in this new rule or whatever. You have to be over 16 to drink them. And I can only assume that's probably because like some fucking idiot 15 or 14-year-old like drank too many monsters in a day and had a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jade?
Yeah. How you doing, Camaria Jade? But yeah, that's pretty strange.
Yeah, my mind. I was shocked. I was just went, "What?" I think I made her jump out of her skin because I just said "what" that loudly in her face. A mind balloon, as it were.
Mary Jade says here to bring Alex Payne. Hey, have at if you can do it.
She won't be able to do that here. She hasn't got her partner in crime with her right now, so she can't.
I see. But yeah, I don't know much else going on except for the virus. That's what's on everybody's mind. That's all anybody, and understandably so. I get it. I wasn't concerned to begin with. But now I know people that are being quarantined for it and in the hospital for it. I personally know them, and I'm like, maybe it's time to take care of myself. So I did.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, dear. What else is going on, man? Like with you in general? Not a lot, I assume.
Well, I could tell what happened. Well, I can't tell all of it, but I could tell what happened Sunday that made it such a bad day and why I was on the phone with everybody in
Well,
my
only if
company.
you want to.
Oh, no, it's fine. Um, as you guys know, because I've told you, my manager has been quarantined for 2 weeks. She does not have the virus, but her doctor, she has some kind of bronchial infection, and her doctor said, doesn't matter, you got to stay home. You're
Hmm.
quarantined. So she has and I love working for this lady, but she has a tendency of on her off time she hits the bottle pretty daggum hard
Yeah.
because she's called me many times, or I've had to call her, and
She
it's
ain't
pretty
coming in
awful.
because she's hungover, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, I get home. I worked Sunday. I went ahead and worked Sunday while I was still trying to decide. And I got home. I'm sitting here actually playing games, and my phone rings, and it's her. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" Called her by name. What's going on? And she goes, "Have you decided whether or not you're going to stay home or not?" Word had reached her somehow. I'm sure through one of the other employees.
Yeah.
And I said, not yet, not yet. I haven't decided. I'm still. And she starts going off because she's all mad. She says, I care about all my employees, and it's BS that the company's still open and they're pulling this trick. And the more she talks, the louder she gets. My wife's over here going, like, why is she screaming? And I'm just holding my hands up to her, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I will.
And she's obviously been drinking. And she goes, I'm begging you to stay home. And I said, well, I've yet to make the decision. I'm still arguing with myself. I'm having an inner conflict because on the one hand, I'm firmly in the high risk category. I'm 60. I have respiratory problems. I have other issues. I'm a smoker. I'm
Mm-hmm.
firmly in the high risk. So on that, but on the other hand, I was raised with a very strong work ethic. So there's that other voice that tells me you need to go to work, right?
Yeah.
And the two have been fighting in my brain. It's not been an easy decision for me. I mean, I've had an inner conflict for a couple of days and it was driving me nuts. Like I couldn't decide, what do I want to do? And she goes, strong work ethic, my butt, and starts going off and cussing at me.
Mm.
Now, this is my manager. It's just telling me off, and she's talking about she's going to get a class action suit against the company and all this stuff and everything. And I don't want anything to do with no class action suit. No matter what I decide, I don't want anything to do with that. I like my job,
Yeah.
and just going off and screaming and hollering and getting louder and louder. My wife, even the dog's paying attention. Like, where's that shrill noise coming from?
So yeah, she called you up and read at you.
Yeah, and then hung up on me at the end of it. She's
Oh.
like, you know what? You just do whatever you got to do, and hung up. I'm like, okay. Now I kept my cool through the whole thing.
Mm.
I did, surprisingly, but I did want to. I got on the phone and I called because she said she was going to call everybody that worked there, all the employees.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give my fellow assistant manager a heads up, like, get ready because she's been drinking and she's not, pleasant at the moment. Well, I got a hold of her and she says, well, yeah, she called, but she didn't answer it. She didn't answer the call. So I told her what the call went with me, and she goes, you know what, you need to call Nancy, who is our assistant district manager, and tell her what's going on.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get her in trouble because I really think by and large she's a good manager and I like working for her. It's just, that was out of the blue.
It's also extremely unprofessional.
It is. It is. So I said, okay, I'll call her. And I called the assistant district manager, and she says, yeah, I've been on the phone with her too. And she was screaming and hollering at me. And I'm thinking, well, how does she even still have a job then?
Mm.
But, and she goes, and I'm telling her everything. And I said, she's trying to force me to stay home. I said, one thing about you, Nancy, is that I appreciate it is when I first told you that I was thinking about staying home, you said, whatever you decide, we'll support you. We're with you. 100% support you for whatever decision you make because it's your decision to make. We can't make you stay. You know, I said, yeah, I know. And I wanted you to know that I wasn't, if I decide to stay home, that I'm not doing it just because she's called me and yelled at me about it, and because to be honest, it almost made me want to make the other decision to stay just out of bullheadedness.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do, and she says, you know what, you need to call Richard, who's the district manager, her boss. I'm like, oh crap. So I said, well, I don't have his number. So, well, I'll have him call you. So he calls me and I go through the whole story with him. Long story short, it was just like, oh my God, jeez Louise. And I thought for sure that she would sober up like the next day, realize what she did, feel bad about it, and call me and apologize. But she never has. I don't haven't heard anything since. But
Is she one of them that doesn't remember the day after?
I don't know. She may not. She may not. And I told them all of them, both Nancy and Richard. I told them, look, I do not want to get her in trouble. And if this comes to trouble with her, please don't bring my name up into it. I don't want her to be in trouble because I do like working with her. I like working for her. I like working with her. I think by and large, she's a good manager.
Mm.
It's just this situation that was, like you said, very unprofessional.
Yeah, but it's disgustingly unprofessional, to be honest. And I wouldn't have taken it. I would have gone, will you fucking listen here, you pissed up bitch? Put a fucking bottle down, do your job, you gobshite.
Yeah.
Fucking call me up and talk to me like that.
And if she called the 18-year-old, you've heard me mention the 18-year-old we've got working there. Thank you, Six, for the donation. Stay healthy, BW, my internet, big bro, fist bumps. Yeah, fist bumps. Thank you.
Love you, Six.
She's the 18-year-old is very passive. She's very timid. And she gets intimidated very easily. Customers intimidate her sometimes and stuff like that. If she called her and screamed at her like that, that poor girl. That poor girl.
We don't know if she did.
Yeah. And it just come out of the blue because, as far as I knew, she loved me to death, and had even told somebody, there was one of our regular customers, he was looking for help for his business, and it's no secret, you all know my real name is Jerry. She says, well, you can't have Jerry, he's mine. But then this, I'm like, oh my God, what the heck? So yeah, that was my Sunday, and it really bothered me. That really
does she always get like that?
No, I think she drinks pretty much every day as soon as she gets off. What you do in your old time, that's your own business, whatever.
So she's gone from being a relatively, what we could assume was a happy drunk.
Yeah.
And the coronavirus happened, and then she's turned into a mean drunk.
Yeah, because she has some people in her family, older people, that are hospitalized now with the virus. And I get that. She's all upset, but she just don't call and scream at me. I'm not your enemy. If you've got a problem here, it's with the company. And I've got to make up my own decision. You can't make me make that decision.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that's the decision I made anyway. Regardless of her screaming at me. It was not a good. It really bugged me. I was really upset. I couldn't go to sleep till about 3:00 in the morning that night. It was just.
Yeah, I think it would have been the same. I'd have been wound up.
Yeah.
For a long time.
And then I had to call my assistant district manager back to tell her that, okay, I've made a decision. I'm not going to be in. And then called my fellow assistant manager back and told her, Kim, I'm sorry. I know it's going to be hard on you, but I can't come in. I'm not going to come in. I'm sorry. I apologize. Got to do what I got to do.
So it's what, you'll be off for about a week and then
take it from there. See what happens. I'll go back as soon as the governor says, okay, we're back to normal. And last I heard, schools are supposed to restart April 6th, but who knows? and
they think this will last until June over here. In fact, if I look at the news bulletins, they were saying September a few weeks ago. So, I mean, at least it's an improvement.
Yeah. Unless it gets really exponentially worse around here, I'm not going to take more than a couple of weeks off. We can't afford it.
I'm going to read this news line to you, mate, because it's fucking devastating.
Yeah.
This one instead. Yeah, I was just met with a headline from the Mirror there, and it ain't good. So,
yeah, I can't see me taking more than 2 weeks off at best, because we can't afford it, because I'm not getting paid for it, and since my business did not shut down, I can't get unemployment. So, yeah.
Give it time.
Well, some of the stores have shut down because they had nobody to man it.
Yeah,
I know. There's a store in a small town just outside of Indianapolis called Mooresville. It shut down, and the store in Greenwood is only staying open because the district managers were working it, because they were down to nothing but the manager. So.
Yeah, it's crazy over here too, man. I was reading yesterday. I haven't been paying too much attention to it because I don't need that in my life.
Right.
I'm already depressed enough as it is for my own personal fucking reasons. Never mind the corona, broke brain. But I was reading it yesterday, and a couple of the airlines have completely grounded their entire fleet. And their staff are now being sent to what we're calling Nightingale hospitals that are being set up. So they're going to be helping out. The cabin crews are being sent to there to help out there, basically.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Attack Alpaca says April 6th. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's not happening. I bet it doesn't with the schools either. But that's also the date that our governor set as a tentative date of everything going back to normal, not having to self-isolate at least.
Yeah.
But that's subject to change too. Who knows? All he needs is my unemployment insurance was approved yesterday. Good for you. I won't have to sell my body. Good thing too. It's falling apart. And Franix just put in my UI claim today, hoping it all goes well. Yeah, well, I do too. I hope it does.
Sarah, it works until I try to use my legs. It also doesn't constantly work. Right, today's a good day in terms of my physical abilities. Yesterday, not so much. Could barely talk yesterday.
Oh yeah,
brain fog yesterday.
Hope you sleep well, Onyx. 1937 says, "Hi, Alex. I'm off to bed. Hope you're feeling okay."
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better, more positive today, shall we say? But yeah. Sarah Jane, believe me, it quite clearly is a broke fucking brain. Otherwise, I'd be at work. I'd be driving.
Well,
I wouldn't be walking around with a fucking cane.
Told you before, we all already knew you had an abnormal brain. And having said that, guess what time it is?
It's wee time for Mr. Wing.
It is, and I shall be right back.
All right, man. When the old man gets back, I will of course be leaving because I start my stream 9, which is in 6 minutes' time. The governor in Illinois has pushed back the stay-home order until the end of April. They're probably going to end up pushing it back further than that as well. Yeah, I've noticed today's been a good day. I haven't slurred my words. Excuse me, at all. My legs have been awful, though. They have been very awful. Yeah, of course, it's Twitch. It's Tuesday. You know there's a schedule, Fran. Alex, just because we call ourselves Broken Toys didn't mean you need to do it for real. Well, I didn't do it on purpose. I certainly didn't do it on purpose. I wouldn't have wasted money on this and be forced to walk around with this if there wasn't something wrong. I'd go back to frigging work well, Twitch is better than YouTube, Kyler. So, I mean, it actually sends out notifications for a start. It's much far superior for live streaming. Far superior. Plus, I'm also doing a charity stream on Thursday as well, raising money for the Corona response. You sound like me before I had a stroke. It can take up to 2 years to heal from them. Yeah, well, it weren't a stroke, so there's that. I've got to wait until either the private clinic gets back to me or somebody cancels an appointment so I can finally sit down with the fucking neurologist and find out what it actually is. So, I mean, the private clinic that I contacted said that they were reviewing it on a weekly basis. So, hopefully next week they might reopen their doors. I don't know. Well, we shall see. And then hopefully I could be able to take my ass to one of their clinics. They'll be able to tell me what the fuck's wrong with me and then hopefully come up with a treatment plan them goddamn selves. But yeah, I wish I knew what it was. But it definitely isn't the stroke and it wasn't the TIA. And there are 2 1 centimeter size abnormalities on the brain that like to take away my ability to do certain things at random times of the day. Oh boy, it's fun. Are you back, Mr. Wing?
I am.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go because I has a stream to get to, sir.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And I hope you feel good, man. And hopefully I'll be able to catch you without
right.
having to stream before the next one.
Alrighty.
All right, man. You have a good one. See you later, chat. Bye-bye.
See you, man.
See you later.
All right. So, chat's just me and you again. Just me and you. And we don't have too much to go. So let's see if I can think of enough to talk about to keep this thing going for another half an hour. I'd love to stay, but Alex need me. Toodles. See ya, Poitras. See ya. Yeah. Hey, I'm not mad if y'all want to head over there. That's fine. I get it. I'm not very sensitive. So that kind of thing doesn't bother me. The only thing, only once have I been bothered or felt that way about YouTube, and I was premiering an episode of Redneck Truck. I don't even remember which episode it was, but for some reason, unbeknownst to me, YouTube wasn't sending out the notifications, and I didn't think anybody was going to show up because no one showed up until the last second, and it was because Alex shared it on Twitter. But I didn't know that YouTube wasn't sending it out. And I was like, well, where's everybody at? Where's all the regulars? Shield says, what's small and screws old people? COVID-19. Kyler says, ooh, Twitch, no thanks. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Twitch myself. I have a Twitch account, but I haven't been on it for probably a couple of years. And the only reason I have it was to watch Alex when he was gaming over there a couple of years ago for a while. Just not a big fan of the format. Just not. But hey, you do you. Whatever you want to do, you go do it. So, chat. What can we talk about? What can we do? What can we talk? Give me something good to talk about. Screw politics and the virus. We've talked about that enough. What can we talk about? Give me a topic. How about that? Give me a topic, and we'll see if I've got something to say about it. Because I have conspiracy theories. Well, I'm not a conspiracy theory kind of guy. Medieval history. Owen Harmon. Well, that was very specific. Medieval history. I do know some about medieval history and another history. But I would have, if I was to talk about anything in particular, I would have to refresh my memory. Um, or lesser known Confederate generals. Yeah, I could do that too, but again, I would have to refresh my memory. I think this is a three-step global collaborative effort to solve population aging, low birth rate. Okay. Yeah, that kind of conspiracy theory, huh? Attack alpaca. Are you happy to have Philip Rivers on the Colts? No. And I was all over Twitter's asking Monkey because Monkey's a Chargers fan. I said, why couldn't you keep him there? Because I don't want him. You may not know this because if you're not a Colts fan, but there's history with him. Even though he sent out a tweet saying he's always respected the Colts fan. No, there's footage of him actually flipping off the Colts fans during games here that he's had. Yeah. I don't want him. Don't want him. But I understand we got to do what we got to do because, the quarterback last year obviously was not the answer. Red Feather One says, will you be doing football streams again this year? I would love to, but the deciding factor is going to be whether or not J Kid, my son, decides he'll do it. Because I started those initially because I wanted to do something with my son, and if he's unable to do it, and he hasn't had internet for a while, so if he's unable to do it, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I could get other people to do it. Certainly, I almost bet you that Badger Man would do it with us again, and so forth. But it just wouldn't be the same without my son. So it's all going to hinge on that pretty much. Shio says, "How about your picks to win the WNBA and the NWHL titles?" I know that was just a joke, but I have no idea. I couldn't even name you all the teams in the WNBA. I do like basketball, but I don't watch women's basketball. Sorry. And that's not a sexist thing. I just don't watch it. In fact, I haven't watched a basketball game in eons, mainly because most basketball games have moved to specific cable channels instead of being played over the network channels now. So I just got out of the habit of watching them. Kyler Phillip Rivers, talented kid, but he chokes. He does choke. Has a bit of an attitude problem as well, and I just can't get over how he's treated us as Colts fan when he played here as a Charger, because there absolutely is footage of him flipping off the crowd. I just don't personally like him. So, yeah, I'm not happy that we have him, but hopefully, having said that, hopefully he plays well while he's here. And as far as I know, they've only made a 1-year deal. So, Shio says, I'm partially interested in the NWHL. They canceled the season before the title game with my home state set to defend previous year's title. Yeah. And I'm supposing that's a hockey league. Never did get much into hockey because I don't understand it. The only time that I really watched any hockey was back in the 80s, when the American team won in the Olympics. And that was just because everybody else was watching it, and I wanted to see what all the to-do was about. But I don't understand it enough. I don't understand the rules enough, I guess, to enjoy it. Do you ever watch Swamp People? I saw an episode the other night where they were catching pythons in Florida. Yes, I've absolutely watched Swamp People. I've watched it many times. Them people be crazy. And yes, I know some of the scenes are set up beforehand and so forth, but still, handling gators and stuff and catching them, and they're nuts. They're absolutely nuts. And some of the people on the show are just big characters. They're characters. I do enjoy it. I like Swamp People. Haven't watched it in quite a while. Uh, Sean DW, hockey is football on ice. It's more like soccer on ice, honestly. When you're trying to get it in the net and it's just 1 point and so forth. And yeah, there's that too. Red Feather One, you can barely see the puck on TV. Um, but yeah, uh, I don't dislike hockey. I just don't understand it, so I never really got into it. If I ever sat down and watched it a lot and picked a favorite team, because we don't have a professional team here in my city anymore, or in my state. Used to. It wasn't like one of the big league. It was a farm team for one of the other hockey teams uh, for many years, but I don't think we have one here now. If we do, they sure don't advertise it. On ice, bigger hits and flops, and you can fight. Yeah. Um, yeah, there's that. Oh, get that hit of coffee. Uh, but pretty much the only sport that I watch anymore, and I used to watch a lot of different sports. I used to watch. Uh, Friday nights I'd go to my the high school that I went to my alma mater, and watch the home football games. I'd watch college football all day Saturday, watch pro football all day Sunday, and Monday night I'd catch all the NBA games I could, all the Indiana Hoosiers college basketball games that I could, and that's not even mentioning NASCAR and all that. I used to watch all that faithfully. Anymore, about the only thing I watch is just the NFL, and that's pretty much if it's a Colts game. I don't watch too much else. Sometimes I do, but not normally. You know. Um, but oddly enough, Florida has a hockey team. Yeah, I know they do. A state where you're not very likely to find enough ice to skate on naturally. You know, it is kind of funny. Multiple Lightning and Panthers. Yeah. Uh, you're probably closer to St. Louis territory than Detroit or Chicago. No. Oh, no, Shio. I'm only 4 hours from Chicago. Only 4 hours from Chicago. If that, 4 hours at most. Uh, Kyler says a couple of my distant cousins were decent hockey players. They were on the local AAA team. They've retired now, but back in the day, they used to be that close to moving up to the NHL. Yeah. Um, we had one big player that did move up to the NHL. He was a goalie named Razor Shines. If that name rings a bell with any of the hockey fans out there. Sheila says, "Ooh, a Blackhawks fan." No, not necessarily. I'm just saying I'm closer to Chicago because I'm not a fan of any Chicago sports. Now, back in the day before the Colts moved here from Baltimore, if you had a football team, here it was normally either Chicago Bears or Cincinnati Bengals because those were by far the closest teams. Cincinnati, especially, was way closer. Um, yeah, I can be in Cincinnati in a little over an hour's drive, maybe two. It's not a very long drive to Cincinnati. Aggravating drive if you've never drove through Cincinnati. Oh my gosh, their streets are crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And I live in a city with more interstates running through it than just about any other state in the union, any other city in the nation. And but the way their streets are set up in Cincinnati is just confusing as heck and awful. You can you can get off in and you can literally get stuck on nothing but off ramps and not be able to get off if you don't know what you're doing in Cincinnati. It's crazy. Johnny Hellcat says Penguins. That is all. And no, Pittsburgh isn't Canada. that it's not. um, but yeah, back in Red Feather One says, so yeah, I grew up in Cincinnati, so what I'm telling you is the truth. The streets are stupid nuts. Um, but I used to go there on occasion to go to Kings Island. Go there about once or twice uh, a year. Red Feather says always got lost in Indianapolis though. Once you know the secret to Indianapolis, it's if you're trying to get around downtown, I still get lost downtown. Depends on where you're going in Indy. But the secret is you can always find your way. If you can find Interstate 465, you can find your way out because 465 is what they call a bypass, and it just runs a big 50-mile circle around the city. Just goes in a big circle. So no matter where you get on it, eventually you'll get to where you want to go, where you want to get off and head in the right direction. So if you get lost in Indy, just look for the signs that lead you to 465. Um, Johnny Hellcat says, "I'm actually just swinging by to say hi, drop a like and share. Have a great day." Well, thank you, Johnny. Glad you did that. Glad you were able to stop in for just a minute. I hope you have a good day. Um, yeah. Owen Herman, thanks for the show. I'm going to say good night now. All the best. Good night, Owen, and hope you rest well. Attack off. Yes, I-70 goes through Indianapolis. I-70, I-74, I-65, 60, 465, 865. And I know I'm forgetting about two of them. All run through Indianapolis, and that's why it has the nickname of Crossroads of America. If you ever have an opportunity to look at an atlas and look up the city of Indianapolis, it just looks like a big spider with all the internet, all the interstates coming out of it. So yes, I-70 absolutely goes through Indianapolis. Um, what does the F in North Korea stand for? Freedom. Uh-huh. Right. Um, but yeah, I can see how it would be confusing here for people that's not used to it. But I will say that our interstate system, unless you're talking about the spaghetti bowl downtown, where I-70 and I-65 merge for about mile and a half, uh, it's set up fairly easily. Now the spaghetti bowl, that's a different story. That's could be very confusing, especially if you're new. And because the two interstates merge and become one for about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles, but not very long. But they merge, and then you got to be paying attention and on the right side of it to get off where you want to be. And if you're not paying close attention as you're going through there, you could absolutely end off heading the wrong direction, and on the interstate that you didn't want to be on. Red Feather One says we used to go up to the racetrack every year. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. I do not get out on race day, and I heard on the radio the other day, and I don't know what day, but I've heard that they've pushed the race to August this year, which is going to put it right after the NASCAR race that's here because of the virus. I've heard that they've pushed it to August. Now, I don't know how true that is. I just caught the tail end of an announcement on the radio. But I don't get out on race day. And anybody that lives here and lives anywhere near the track, they don't get out on race day because it's a mess, a total mess. And traffic can be backed up for literally miles just trying to get into that track, and they'll close down streets or make them only one way, that aren't usually one way, and no, don't get out. Shiograss is a friend in Germany tells me everyone's panic buying sausages and cheese is the worst case scenario. Oh, Shio. Oh, mercy. Good old Shio. We're gonna always count on you for bad dad jokes. Um, Okay, what time? Oh, we got about 15 minutes to go yet. Red Feather One says, I don't blame you. Yeah, if you're, and I've been to the track several times, but if you live here, in most cases, there's people that live here and go to the track every year and they make a thing out of it. But most people that live here that I know, they've gone a few times when they're younger, and then after that, it's like, no thanks. Yeah, now they might go out on Carb Day or something and go visit all the different tents of all the manufacturers and the different companies that will set up tents in the infield and so forth. And that's a whole nother thing. Um, but as far as going to the race itself, most people that live here don't. They just don't. And it still does business like you wouldn't believe in the hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. It's quite ironic. Strap backwards spells no parts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Um, Kyle says, "Yep." Just like you don't go into Lincoln on the Saturdays, they have home games. Yeah, yeah. You know. Now, having said that, it reminds me. I'm a big Notre Dame football fan. Notre Dame College, which is in South Bend, Indiana, which is a decent drive for me. It's probably 2.5 to 3 hours. But one day I would like to go to a Notre Dame home game. I just would like to. It's on my bucket list, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Um, let's see. We've got 15 minutes left. Let's see if I can carry and just keep jabbering. I do have the gift of gab, but I have to have to come up with things to talk about, or I will suddenly go awkwardly quiet, and that's not good for a live stream if you do that. Uh, let's see, what else can we talk about? Well, we've covered the virus in detail, and I'm tired of that. Covered that I'm staying home, and the issues I had on Sunday, and we talked about Alex's issues, and we've talked about sports. Some people mentioned earlier about history, which I didn't get off into. If I do something specific, I'd have to refresh my memory. Mostly not because I don't know history, because I do. That's my porn. But I'm old and I need a Kickstarter to get me going. I did watch a video earlier today. The uh, the video was an actual high school history teacher was reacting to history channel videos, history YouTube history channels, and watched one on the American Civil War, which I found very interesting, because it's one of my fortes. My two favorite periods of history, of American history, are the years prior to and through and after World War I, and the years prior to the Civil War, through the Civil War, and through the Reconstruction. That's what interests me. Shios says, "Tell me on Bioshock, what's the basic storyline?" Well, it's 1960, and you have a group of people that have gave up on civilization as it is. They're kind of like a bunch of libertarians, I guess. They live by the motto of whatever you want to do, and they have an underwater city, but things have gone wrong. They've found a way to easily genetically splice different powers into people, but people started over splicing and going crazy, and that's the setup. But it's a very interesting story, I think, and it has a very big twist on the end, which I will not give a spoiler to. You'll have to watch and stay tuned for that. And if you want to really know, watch the live streams that I do on it, because I try very hard not to blow the story, because some of the people that watch uh, didn't haven't played it, so they're watching it to enjoy the story and enjoy watching me play. Uh, it's a very fun game, and it's one of my all time favorites. And the version I'm playing right now is the remastered version, and it just looks gorgeous. It looks so much better, and it always looked gorgeous before. I wouldn't exactly call it a horror game because it's not technically a horror name, but there are horror elements to it. Uh, Creepy, yeah, it's very creepy, very creepy. That I would, but Kyler says Lee was somewhat overrated as a general. Fight me. I'd have to disagree. I'd have to say that he was probably the best tactician in the war at that time, and that's counting both sides. Because one of the issues that they had during the Civil War is many of the best generals sided with the South. And we weren't left with very many good ones on the North. And that's why Lincoln had to go through so many generals. And he went through a ton. He'd put this general in charge and they wouldn't do the job. And he'd fire him, put this general in charge. And they wouldn't do the job and fire him. And he went through that several times before he finally happened upon Grant. And, Grant had his own personal issues, but he was a decent soldier and a decent general. And it would at least do what Lincoln asked of him. So, yeah, I'd have to disagree with you, Kyler, on that. I think Lee was a good tactician, and his love was for his state, not his nation, unfortunately. And that's why he picked the South. But I'll stop there before we get into a whole nother kettle of fish about you talk about the American Civil War and all the things surrounding it. Tends to be polarizing, and not always in a good way, which I wish wasn't the case, because it's an interesting study in that point of history of our country, but people tend to get upset and polarized over their opinions on it, and so on. But yeah, what else we got? Kyler says that was what made him look good early on. He had great subordinates. Later, as the talent thinned out, he showed his weaknesses, admittedly few. And yeah, he did have some weaknesses. He overextended himself when he finally decided to attack into the North for the first time. And he actually had great success. And up to that point, the South looked like they were winning the darn thing. And he did overextend himself at that point when the tide turned and the North actually won a battle, if you could call losing tens of thousands of men winning the battle. Very bloody, and in fact still holds the record for the single for American loss of life to this day in any war, in any situation. When he attacked into the war, his temper lost him. Gettysburg. Yeah, I could see how you would say that. I would see how you would say that. But when he first went up into the North and attacked, he was having the same kind of success that he'd been having previous. But he overextended himself just a little bit and just about got himself surrounded. And in fact, if what was the general at that time? McClellan? Was it McClellan? I forget. My old man brain is failing me. If he had pressed the attack, he probably could have captured Lee, but he was far too cautious, and he didn't press the attack, and that's what got him fired. I'm talking to Kyler. I'm talking about the who was in charge of the armies at that time. That was the same general that it said that Lincoln went to meet with him at his house, and he made Lincoln wait. And when he got there, he went to bed instead of talking to him. That general. And if it's not McClellan, it does start with a. But I'm pretty sure it's not Meade. But Lincoln didn't have good success with the generals he put in charge early in the war at all. They all wanted to be far too cautious, and didn't want to do what Lincoln told him to do, and he wanted to press the issue. Yeah, McClellan. That's what I thought it was, McClellan. Yeah, and it was that lost him the war, lost him the job because he failed to press the issue, and he could have easily chased them down and probably captured Lee and his forces, but he wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. Uh, Speaking of the Civil War, I did some research for a paper in college. Apparently, the only deaths at Fort Sumter, despite all the shelling it got from the South, were because a cannon exploded. Yeah. Um, and that's actually what started the war, was Fort Sumter. And that was the first shots fired, and the South fired them. And, there hadn't been any battles up to that point, even though numerous states had already seceded and were trying to form their own union, the Confederate States of America. I thought you were talking about during Gettysburg. No, no, but yeah. Uh, Civil War, to me, is very interesting, and it has a lot of interesting nuances, like any war and the circumstances surrounding the war. There's no real cut and dried thing that you can point to. This started that, and this started the war, and this is why the war happened, and this is why they lost. It's battles and wars are very nuanced, and there's often a lot of factors that have to be taken in to look at the entire picture on why. Okay, why did they lose? Why did they win? Why did they do that? Kind of thing. It's just like the whole, and this is the most polarizing part of the Civil War about, well, it was about slavery or it was about states' rights, and actually, it's a little both. So, but you get into that conversation with people. Yes, it was way more complicated than slavery bad, Kyler. Absolutely, absolutely. And at the beginning of the war, it was far more about states' rights than it was anything for the South, and for Lincoln's part, it was about keeping the Union together. It wasn't until the latter stages of the war that it became about slavery and freeing them. But we're down to 4 minutes left of stream, so I don't have time to really dwell on that and explain that position. Maybe another stream, another time. But you get to talking about that, and you even mentioned, oh, it was about state rights, so, at least partially. Um, and people get all up in arms. No, it wasn't about slavery, but it was, as you said, far more complicated than that. Very, very complicated situation. It really was. And it was actually a perfect storm of things had to happen in the way that it did happen for it to even come about, for it to have become an issue. Um, yeah, I hate having that discussion with people. Yeah, some people just don't want to get it. It was a very nuanced, very complicating thing. Kyler says, "Yeah, the Civil War is a whole 2 hour stream." No, oh, I guarantee I could spend more than 2 hours talking about the Civil War. It would probably be a series of streams, to talk about and to break down properly. And it's something I've thought about doing before. I've thought about it. I absolutely have. And if I do that, I don't know if you guys know Tim Kronsel, calls himself Sage on Twitter, and he has a YouTube channel. He doesn't do much history stuff anymore, but he used to do all history stuff. Has a very small YouTube channel, and would probably bring him in on it if I did, because he rivals me in my knowledge of history. I probably know more about American history than he does, but he doesn't live here, so he's pretty knowledgeable for someone that doesn't live here. Paula, you would be good for that stream, yeah, yeah. But anyway, we have made it to the end of the stream, and it's at this time that I always thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with me and spending a part of your day with me, because I know you could be doing a whole lot of other things besides hanging out with this old man and spending time with me. But I appreciate it I appreciate the donations. Someone should reenact the Civil War on Minecraft. But I've always said it, and I'll say it again. This channel is yours. I just run it. It's you guys. It's because if you don't enjoy what I'm doing, you're not going to show up. And that's just the way it is. So I always appreciate you. And thank you to Alex. I know he's already gone, but thanks for coming in and spending some time with us and all of that. But we are at that time where it is time to call it. So, as always, get out of my yard.